Hey guys, so today I'm just going to be talking about owning snails and what really goes into owning snails. Keep in mind, owning snails is not the easiest thing, and they do require a little bit of attention. First of all, I'm going to talk about my terrarium. So yes, I do understand that having holes on the top is not as good. It's better to have holes on the side. But I did not know this, and when I first put together their terrarium, I did not know that, and I just put the holes on top. But it is better to have holes on the side. Also, snails do better in smaller enclosures. I currently have 5 snails in here, 3 garden snails, and 2 of these snails that I keep forgetting the names. But I did do research on their care, I just keep forgetting their names. Also, ignore all the background noises. I'm currently filming this out in nature outside, as you can see. So let's talk about that. So snails who do better. Okay, snails do better. What? Snails do better in smaller enclosures because they are slow and they can't find their food as much in their bigger enclosures, and they'll start circling around the lid and they can't find their food. So having a small enclosure with food everywhere, scatter feeding, is better because they find their food easier. I literally got this storage container at Target, and it was 99 cents, $1, I believe. Very inexpensive but very effective, and also holds in humidity great. Now, I wasn't add more air holes, but they seem to do fine in these. I do have plenty of air holes, bigger, and I don't know if you can see that, smaller. And it also, the lid does get a little bit dirty from dirt and stuff, but that's nothing to worry about. Now let's look inside my snail enclosure. I also just gave them food, so that's why they haven't eaten it yet. Snails are nocturnal, meaning they are awake during the night and asleep during the day. Except my snails do not go to sleep at all, I feel like, because I always see them awake. Sometimes that means because sometimes they can be in darker places and they think it's night. That's why it's important to have a clear enclosure, kind of like this. With a clear enclosure, they get the light when it's light out and the dark when it's dark out. So having that keeps them on a correct sleep schedule. I just moved to this little bit more of the shade because I couldn't see the camera at all and what you guys are seeing. So let's look inside my terrarium. As you can see, I like to have it nice and full so that they have plenty of places to hide and just kind of play with. I don't know why I said play, but they absolutely love this hanging terrarium plant. It's actually supposed to hang, but it doesn't in my enclosure, as you can see. But they love hiding in it, and it's like a mini jungle for them. As you can see, they're all hanging out in here. Also, these snails have been together for the longest of time, and they seem to do great together. Usually putting smaller snails with bigger snails isn't good, but they do terrific together, and they're usually keeping their distance too. So I've seen everything been doing good. I mean, it's been going good having them together. But if I ever see the smaller snails trying to rasp the bigger snail shells, even though they have calcium, I will spread them apart. Also, if I hear anything talking about they're not good together or something, I've done a lot of research and they seem to do fine together. Their priorities are similar, so actually pretty much the same. So they seem to do good together. But moving on to heat. So gallows, dry African land snails, are illegal in the USA. So if you have a gallows, you know that they need heat mats. You don't really need a heat mat for garden snails unless they're kept in a colder climate, like your room's really cool always. Having a heat mat will prevent them going into hibernation, and really not good for your snails to be put in a really cold climate unless they're used to that. So you don't need a heat mat unless your room's always going to be freezing cold or something like that. Next, I'm going to talk about hides. So it's good to have plenty of hides and plenty of places for your snails to hide in. I have this silk plant, this silk rose that they love to hide into. I have this hide that they can go underneath. They like to hide in the moss I have. They love hiding in here. They have plenty of places to hide. It's really important to have plenty of places to hide. I also recommend having sticks so that they can still have semi-natural diet. They like grasping a stick sometimes and, chewing it down a little bit. This stick is driftwood, so it's really easy for them to, you can see, it's really easy to, rasp for them. Now on to diet. The diet I'm not going to talk about too much since I already have a video on this, but having fresh veggies daily. They don't have too many veggies right now. They usually don't get cucumber unless in the summer, and if you didn't know, it's summer out. So I like putting some cucumber down just to make sure they're getting water. Also, it looks like I did not spray them down, which I literally sprayed their tank down maybe 2 hours ago. So making sure you spray it down often. I'm still working on holding in humidity. Ever since I got moss, it's been holding in humidity a little bit better, but I still am working on it. You can see there's still some water droplets, especially by the moss area, but anywhere else, it's not holding in humidity at all. Now, I don't know if I got caught off, but I heard about vacations. As you can see, we're vacationing right now. And since we're doing that, I can't just leave my snails home, so I have to bring them with me. You can You can easily bring snails on the airplane unless they're not gouged or land snails for obvious reasons, which you can do your own research on, because I'm not here to talk about them because I don't own them. So I recommend going to Jade's Jungle if you want more information on that. You have to bring them. You have to have them like any other pet. Always keep them out and not obviously put them in a bag or your suitcase because of multiple reasons. Airflow. Being in a bag is not fun for any animal anyways. And, you know, it can shake around and stuff. So you have to treat them like any other pet. And if you drive in the car with them, having them out on your lap or down on the like. Also ignore the mess. There's like beads everywhere and stuff, but ignore that. This is where I put my snails. They have proper airflow and they're never too cold nor they are too hot. Also, never leave your snails alone in the car for obvious reasons. It can get way too hot in there. Also, if you have them in glass terrarium, you obviously can't bring that on the airplane. So keeping them in a plastic tub like this, they just came in their plastic tub and we just had to go through a lot of stuff in security. So we had to go earlier, but I don't want to talk about that too much. I'll do a separate video if you guys want. Next, we're gonna talk about these little guys. Making sure that they're always healthy, which is kind of hard to do. Making sure you track their shell growth, and you always make sure they're eating. They can get deep retraction syndrome if they don't eat. So making sure that they're eating and they have a healthy diet. I think I might have sidetracked from the diet. Fresh veggies, fish flakes once a week to twice a week. Also, 24/7 calcium. I recommend cuttlefish bone. Actually, cuttlefish bone is the only source of calcium that you can give your snails. Eggshells do not work, which I just learned about, I want to say, a few days after I got them, and I had to go out and get myself some cuttlefish bone. So get cuttlefish bone. It's very inexpensive, only around a couple bucks at the pet store. In the bird section, you can either get the big or small version. I had to get the small version because that's all that was there. Don't get artificial cuttlefish bone, and make sure it's real. Also make sure it's not different colors, because I saw like cuttlefish bone that was like different colors. I don't know, it was like orange and pink. I think it was like flavored or something. Don't get that. Just get normal cuttlefish bone. Also never sprinkle never sprinkle calcium powder on your snail's food. They only eat calcium when they need it. They're smart like that, so don't do it. They can have a calcium overdose and it won't be good. Their shell will look all wonky and it's really not good for them. So please don't do that. I see a lot of people thinking that they can do that. It's not good. Please don't do that. I know people make mistakes, but learning from them is the important part. Next, just like hamsters, they burrow, unlike they're totally different animals. I'm just making sure they have enough substrate to burrow in. I have this much substrate, which is plenty because my snails barely burrow. They go about right here. They don't even go to the very bottom unless they're laying eggs. Having the proper amount. Their biggest snail shell, plus about, it really depends on the type of snail. For gals, it's about an inch. For garden snails, it's just about like this much more to cover them. Which I don't know if that's an inch or not. I don't know. Is that an inch? I don't know. But you get my idea. Having a good amount of soil, substrate, it has to be soil, for them to burrow in, because they love burrowing, especially when they're laying eggs. My garden snails burrow a little bit more. These snails do not burrow unless they're gonna lay eggs. And even then, they still lay their eggs on this plant. Even though my garden snails lay their eggs in the soil, these snails, I always forget the name, lay their eggs in the plants or on leaves and stuff like that. I honestly don't understand. So if you have any tips on that, please tell me, because I really don't know. Also, quick doggy break. Aww. This is the fish flakes that my snails have. It doesn't, oh, are you gonna focus? It doesn't matter unless it's, oh my gosh, I keep falling. As long as it it doesn't have too much sodium in that and stuff like that. I don't really know, but I just made sure that there's not any bad ingredients. I just got this at literally Walmart, and it was like a couple bucks, and it lasts them a really long time. As you can see, there's a lot left, and I've had them for about a month, a little bit more than a month. I believe a month and like a couple weeks. So yes. Also, snails live for quite a while. It really depends on the snail species, but some snails can live up to 10 years, and those snails can be... Oh, you guys are pooping. Garden snails. Hi, buddies. Oh, we love long poops. Next on spray bottles. This has never had... Next, this thing has never had any other liquids in it. I literally bought it at the store, and there's never been anything in it. This spray bottle is one where you can either have it all the way out like this, and it'll squirt like this, which is what you don't want. What you do want is it to have a mist like that. You can also just lock it. Also ignore the dirt. I don't know how it got there. Yes, this is great for cleaners and stuff, but I swear I've never been anything in there, and I even did thoroughly clean it before I put non-chlorinated water, which is what you have to use, because chlorinated water can really irritate a snail's skin. If you do give a snail a bath, obviously this thing's gonna have chlorinated water, so don't give a bath too regularly. Since we're on the subject, let's give them a mist. Now, depending on your snail enclosure, you should mist it 2 to 3 times a day. You can doing more is just fine. It's actually better for them because, they like the moisture. Doing one mist like this does nothing. Give them a nice mist, make sure the walls always have water on them. Since snails do not need a water dish, they can drown. I'll show you guys their air holes in just a minute after I spray them down. Making sure they have a lot of water droplets on the side of their enclosure is how they get their water. Also some different veggies that have high water content. What? I'm trying to show you guys their little air holes. Can you see that little hole there? If that goes underwater, they drown. And I'm guessing you guys don't want your snails to drown, so don't let them go in water. I'm sorry, buddy. I know. You can go back. It'll focus. There we go. Sometimes I do put a little dish in there, and if it collects little water droplets, it's fine. I usually put a carrot or something in there, just in case. Give them a nice mist down. Sometimes what I do, I just go from the very top and I give them a nice little rain shower. Also making sure that your moss and your soil is always staying nice and damp. Changing out the snail's food once a day to once every half a day, if that makes sense. Like if you give it to the food in the morning, or if you give the food at night, taking it out in the morning and then changing it. Or if the food can last a bit longer, then putting it in for about a day is fine. Just make sure it doesn't mold, because that's not good. They can die. I'm gonna give them a little bit of fish flakes because we're about to actually go swimming, so I'm trying to finish up this video. But protein source, fish flakes, I like to give them this. I don't try to sprinkle it around just because I don't want it to get all gross, because it does get gross after a couple days. So I just put that there and I give it a little mist like that, and they'll find it. But usually I put it in a bowl, but today I decided to put it there just because there's already carrot in there. Also, lastly, I just put this thing. I'm gonna pretend like it's a table. I thought it was so cute when I had to put that in there. And well, mine as well. I just put a couple fish flakes on top for them since they love their fish flakes. Oops, I can't even show you guys. Now I'm covered in fish flakes. Gross. There we go. I hope this video gave a lot of information about how to keep snails. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notification bells on so you get notified every time I post a new video. And don't forget, subscribe. Where's my snailies? Where's my... Bye, guys.